Hey everyone, November 18th, 2025. You need to hear this full update before the week fully unfolds because we're in the middle of a historic wave of spot XRP ETFs hitting the market with Canary Capital's XRPC already live and posting the strongest debut volume of any ETF this year at $58 million on day one. Franklin Templeton confirmed for tomorrow, and several more major players like Bitwise 21 Shares, Grayscale, and others queued up through the end of the month. Right now, XRP is trading around 220 to 225, holding remarkably steady in a broader crypto correction, while on-chain data shows exchange balances dropping and whale accumulation quietly building. This is the start of real institutional access to XRP through regulated products, creating sustained demand against a shrinking available supply. Stay locked in for the entire breakdown. I'll cover the latest ETF developments, technical setup, on-chain signals, utility growth, and why this phase feels different from past cycles. Let's start with the core of what's driving everything right now. The spot XRP ETFs. Canary Capital's XRPC launched on November 13th and immediately set records, $58 million in first-day volume, edging out every other ETF debut in 2025 with inflows estimated north of $200 million, already as authorized participants create shares by purchasing actual XRP. This isn't futures-based exposure. These are pure spot funds that hold the underlying asset directly impacting supply as institutions allocate. Franklin Templeton's product is next, set to go live tomorrow under ticker EZRP on the CBOE, backed by one of the largest asset managers globally, with over $1.5 trillion in AUM. Reports today confirm their S1 is effective, custody arranged, and trading ready to begin. Bitwise follows closely with listings and approvals aligning for mid to late week, and Grayscale, ProShares, WisdomTree, and others rounding out a cluster of launches that could see 8 to 10 spot XRP ETFs trading by month's end. This timing isn't random. The SEC's post-shutdown guidance and finalized Ripple settlement removed the last regulatory barriers, allowing these products to move forward under the same framework as Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs. Early data from Canary shows strong participation from registered investment advisors and platforms that previously couldn't touch direct crypto exposure. As more funds come online, the cumulative effect compounds. Each new ETF needs to acquire XRP for creation baskets, pulling tokens off exchanges and into custody vaults. On-chain trackers today report exchange-held XRP continuing to decline, down significantly year-to-date, while large wallet transfers to self-custody remain elevated but net positive for long-term holders. Zooming into the technical picture, XRP is consolidating tightly between 2.15 and 230, defending multi-month support levels that have absorbed recent selling pressure. The weekly chart mirrors setups from previous cycles, particularly the 2017 retest of the 20-month EMA that preceded massive expansion volume, is compressing in a bull flag pattern above prior all-time highs, with RSI resetting near neutral territory after the summer peak. A hold here through this week's launches opens straightforward paths to 260, then 2,903 as momentum returns. Broader indicators like declining Bitcoin correlation, now below 0.5 in many sessions, highlight XRP carving its own path, driven by payments, utility, and now ETF accessibility. But the real story extends beyond charts to fundamentals that are scaling faster than most realize. The XRP ledger is seeing record activity in key areas. RLUSD stablecoin volumes are climbing with new integrations across UAE, LATAM, and Asian corridors, adding billions in annualized settlement flow without speculative hype. ISO 2022 standards fully activating. Globally, this month align perfectly with XRP's native capabilities for fast, low-cost bridging. Banks and payment providers are already shifting volume to on-demand liquidity. Now that regulatory clarity is ironclad, Ripple's ecosystem reports show enterprise partnerships expanding quietly with tokenized assets and real-world asset settlement pilots moving into production phases. Think of it this way: traditional cross-burst systems still rely on pre-unded accounts and slow messaging. Trillions locked up unproductively. XRP flips that model, enabling instant liquidity on demand. As more institutions test and adopt, the network effects compound. Recent on-chain reports highlight spikes in payment channels and escrow usage, signs of preparation for higher throughput. Combine this with ETF mechanics requiring ongoing XRP purchases for inflows, and the demand side strengthens while floating supply contracts. Basic economics pointing to higher equilibrium. Pricing over time. Addressing some questions circulating today. Why hasn't price exploded yet? Despite Canary's launch, institutional flows build gradually. Creation redemption happens in blocks. OTC desks source quietly to minimize slippage, and broader market conditions have been risk-off. Bitcoin and Ethereum followed similar patterns post-ETF initial dips on profit-taking, then steady grinding higher as real money rotated in over weeks and months. XRP benefits from the same playbook, but with additional tailwinds, proven enterprise use case, lower correlation to pure spec assets, and a wave of multiple ETFs launching simultaneously rather than staggered. Another common point: concerns about selling pressure from whales or unlocked escrows. Data counters this. Most large transfers recently route to cold storage or known Ripple OTC distributions for partnerships, not dumps on exchanges. Escrow mechanics are predictable and largely priced in after years. Net. Exchange outflow trends remain firmly downward, reducing liquid sell-side depth exactly when new buying channels open via ETFs. As we look at potential scenarios, conservative models from firms tracking inflows project billions entering XRP products in the coming quarters if sentiment stabilizes. Even modest capture of global payment flows remittances alone, a trillion-dollar market supports valuations well above current levels. Once efficiency advantages dominate, analysts mapping historical cycles and supply dynamics see pathways to multi-dollar targets in the medium term, with short-term catalysts from this week's launches potentially sparking the next leg. Expanding on the bigger picture, XRP's role in tokenization is accelerating. Central banks and financial giants are exploring digital asset rails, and the XRP ledger speed, cost, and compliance features position it as a neutral bridge. Recent integrations with stablecoins like RLUSD demonstrate interoperability that's production ready today. This isn't theoretical. Real volume is flowing, and ETFs now provide the on-ramp for traditional portfolios to participate without operational hurdles. One more layer from today's on-chain insights. Active addresses and transaction counts are trending higher despite price consolidation, a divergence often seen ahead of major moves. Payment-specific metrics show consistent growth, validating utility beyond trading hype. Paired with ETF-driven accumulation, the setup favors those positioning now rather than chasing later. Important disclaimer: none of this is financial advice. I'm sharing educational analysis based on public market data, ETF filings, on-chain metrics, and reported developments. Cryptocurrency markets are volatile. Always conduct your own thorough research and only allocate what you can afford to risk. XRP community, we've overcome years of uncertainty, legal battles resolved, infrastructure battle tested, and now mainstream vehicles opening the gates for broader participation. The combination of regulated investment access, shrinking supply, and growing real-world adoption creates a foundation stronger than any previous cycle. If this detailed overview clarified the current landscape and why these ETF launches matter, hit that like button to help reach more holders. Drop your thoughts below. What are you watching most this week? The Franklin launch, technical levels, or on-chain flows? Subscribe and enable notifications for daily updates as more products go live. Share this video with the community. Let's keep everyone informed during this pivotal moment. Leo out.